Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mix Six with the Badger Beer Report. I'm Chelsea McKeown, and joining me today is Greg Washington, our fearless editor-in-chief. Hello, Greg.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good. You're gonna tell everybody, give everybody a quick
I
recap or what
sure
you're gonna
am.
do this
So
evening?
it's the talk of the town right now. So Schlitz being at its finale. It hasn't been made by Pabst for a while, but Wisconsin Brewing is brewing it one last time. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened with Schlitz and how this happened. We're going to talk about backyard barbecues and beers. We're at this time, hopefully, that it's time to have some good food and some good beer that goes with it. And after that, obviously, what's the best kind of summer sippers? Which will go right into Farmhouse Ales, which is such a vague and large category of beer. So helps to go in and talk about what deliciousness that entails. And because obviously I am with Angla Beer Company, we're going to talk a little bit about lactic and acetic acid in beers and why some of it's okay and some of it is like gross. And then finally, 330, 300 storage rule. This just is something to keep an eye on for your beer, whether it's in the fridge or out in the open. Miller Brewing Company is actually the first place that shared this idea. So
Hmm.
again, going back to Wisconsin beer, Miller is that making sure our beer tastes good. Love it. And of course, we've got little things sprinkled throughout too. But first, we're going to talk about the ending of Schlitz.
Mm. Mm.
So if you haven't heard, it's been in all the news. That Schlitz is at its end of its life. Pabst has actually stopped brewing it for quite a while. But Wisconsin Brewing is going to do one last run of it, just as one last hurrah. And this isn't necessarily, oh my gosh, they've just been doing so bad the last year, and that's why it's going down. This has been decades in the making. This is back before I was even a blip in the world. So the first big bang for them was in 1971. The bean counters at Schlitz had decided that they were going to change the recipe. They were going to change the brewing process so they could cut costs, so they can make the same beer, but hopefully for less. And this caused the beer to spoil on the shelf, which is not something that you want, especially a light beer. That's as soon as it gets that funky taste, it's not something you can get out of your mouth anytime soon. And then that caused a lot of their fans to no longer be interested in getting Schlitz and move on to other beers that were in the area. And then in 1981, there was a union strike. This crippled production. They couldn't make beers anymore. And obviously, this brought a lot of financial issues to the brewery as well. So much so that it actually caused the home brewery to close. In 1982, a year after this union strike, Stroh Brewing Company, I think I pronounced it right, acquired it. Didn't do too much with it, just kept assembled Schlitz. And then in 1999, we saw Pabst Brewing pick it up. So Pabst has been doing it for a while, but recently they have been contract brewing it out of an Anheuser-Busch plant in Texas. Um, and unfortunately, despite how much demand there is for it now, there hasn't been enough demand for them to get the minimum quantities that Anheuser-Busch was requiring to brew this product. So because less demand, not enough beer being made, I think there was a little bit of a push during the RNC because we had plenty of people visiting Milwaukee and they're like, oh, we need to have Schlitz. That's synonymous with Milwaukee. So that pushed sales, but not enough to like keep it going for a long time. So unfortunately, we're seeing an old timer go down. But if you're looking forward to it, well, Wisconsin Brewing Company is making one last pour of it. And do you have the inside scoop on that, Greg?
I don't, but I will be looking for it on this Thursday. Thank you, Chelsea, for that little plug plug there. But yeah, this Thursday, I don't have a time yet. Kirby is still working on the time. He is very busy with the publicity of this and to prepare for the brew, I believe, which is Saturday. So I will be talking to him on Thursday. I'm anxious to talk to him about how did he come into this, this opportunity to do this? Why did he want to do it? Why does he feel it's a big thing? Also, Lake Louie, Chelsea, been doing all kinds of things. They were at the ballpark, they're not there anymore. They 2 years ago they added a big warehouse. So there's a lot of questions here to ask. And that is even before Chelsea, we get to him just being a complete legend in Madison beer.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right. So like I don't Chelsea getting getting like 10 questions, while I have him is this going to be the hardest part, but it should be a really fascinating interview and discussion with Kirby about all of this. And I'm excited. But before we get out of here though, and move along, Chelsea, does Schlitz have a place in your beer drinking history?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was actually not much of a beer drinker in my younger age, especially in college. If I was drinking in college, it was the typical Malibu and orange juice, or maybe a stout or a porter. But I was not. I wasn't. It wasn't until I was like my mid-20s that I actually started really getting into beer and really having a good time trying new stuff. So I might have missed the age of Schlitz, but personally, I don't think I'm missing out on much. As horrible as that sounds.
Yeah. So even in your big beer, watered down beer drinking years, Schlitz was not a part of that. So
no,
neither wasn't mine.
Yeah, I'd say if I'm drinking a light beer, if I'm drinking a domestic, it's usually a High Life. That's my usual go-to.
Right. And I've had once or twice Schlitz malt liquor, and I'm glad that one is going to be retired. I'm that really good. So, that one is. So, it's. I think it's the nostalgia that people are feeling.
I think so too, and especially like now that we're getting into the hot months when everyone's looking for a light beer or something that you can just sit on your back porch or patio and pound drinks. There'll be one less there, but we've got plenty of other great beers to drink when you're grilling outside. I just put a little quick pairing thing. Obviously, this is not the end all be all, but just kind of stuff that I thought, when you think barbecue, like one of my ideas was, grilling and chicken, like having grilled veggies, a spatted farmhouse ale goes great. It's not overpowering. It's nice and smooth. So with poultry or veggies that don't have a lot of robust flavor, it's a really nice complement to that. Similarly, if you're doing burgers and brats, and these are kind of interchangeable too. I have Wisconsinitis, 3 Sheeps, they're cream ale. Also crisp, really clean, a really good palate cleanser when you're having heavy foods like double bacon cheeseburger, or what was it? I think they made a Dr. Pepper brat, or Dr. Pepper inspired brat. A cream ale would be great for little in between refreshers so that it's not just heavy on your tongue the entire time. But what is really great for heavy beers is briskets and ribs. Pretty much anything if you smoke out in a smoker. My husband loves making pork butt and brisket. I love eating pork butt and brisket. So the Central Waters Bourbon Barrel Stout. It has that sweetness to it. It has that heaviness to it that really complements the smoked bark and the meltiness of meat. And then sometimes you just want a kind of a hoppy, citrusy beer. So like Hopalicious from Ale Asylum and Carbon 4. It's really great for if you have those fatty, well marbled meats. It'll cut through that richness to it, especially with having a little bit of a citrusy aftertaste to it. Kind of helps balance the whole plate that you're enjoying, hopefully outside.
Ah.
Yeah, but like I said, this isn't the end all be all. Obviously, this is a choose. Like sometimes you want a light beer with a brisket. Go for it. These are just some of my ideas. If you're looking to have a barbecue party, maybe stock a couple of these beers and have a great time with your friends. That's really the big takeaway with all of this.
And a nice variety I see our certified Cicerone gave us. And also our distribution knowledgeable person. I was going to call you distribution friend, but I don't know if that's
I was
good.
actually
But
I was working with my distributor today, so yeah, you can say we're friendly.
right. But all of these here are available, I believe, for sure, Wisconsin wide for the most part. You can find them on pretty much every shelf. So this is why this is another good recommendation. And lastly, I just would like to say that I love that you included a stout because seasonally, some people aren't feeling those stouts, but in a in a nice situation there with again a good pairing, those stouts can bring out a lot of flavor out of those things in the picnic, even though it's not dark beer, heavy beer. It's not the first thing you think of when you're out at the picnic, right?
It's true, and honestly, like I give my husband a hard time about this. I sent him once to the store to get pick up beer, and he came home with 4 6-packs of stouts and porters. And I told him he could never bring beer again. He needs to supervise because there's no way that we're drinking that much beer.
Your sound's weird now.
Uh-oh.
Going dead.
Better?
Does it sound better?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Can you repeat the last thing you said? Because I don't know if it came through for everybody.
So my husband had a bad habit of if I sent him out for beer, he would go get 4 6-packs of stouts or porters, which I like a good stout, but I cannot drink 18 cans of stout within a month even. But I do know, like when you go to bars and restaurants and stuff, that most of the time they do have a stout or porter on tap because especially if they're doing burgers, it's just a good combination sometimes. And it could be 80 degrees outside, but you're always going to find that one person that wants to have a Evan Fitzgerald, and it's almost always there.
I always want to have an Evan Fitzgerald, but so you want to talk about not in the same category, but kind of still hanging out with summer beers, right?
Yeah. So like if you're just having friends over and just enjoying the sunset, or you're sitting on the beach and need something that's low ABV, you're not going to get drunk off of it, but just something refreshing. I've got a couple summer sippers. They're actually kind of all in the same vein of being Hefeweizens. I know that it's kind of surprising with the Potosi Radler, because that kind of brings up the idea of a grapefruit focused one, which it is, but it does have the wheat ale aspect to it that helps also bring the sweetness to it. It really helps balance it out. Lakefront came out with a Hefeweizen that I hear is doing really well in the market. I unfortunately am not a wheat person. That's the only beer that I cannot stand. But I've heard some feedback from people saying that it's a really great light beer. It's a German style wheat ale. Namely Joel. I know Joel was really excited they had a good one. And then, as much as they're, kind of the bigger brand now, the Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. I mean, even selling some other beers in the past, I'd always like, yeah, you can make your own summer shandy. It's kind of just become synonymous with a summer beer in Wisconsin of just a light beer with lemonade. Summer shandy is still a sweet, malty, weedy body that has a little bit of lemon in there. So honestly, it looks like summer sippers are usually just Hefeweizen based, which is great. I mean, that's usually what everyone's seasonal is kind of wrapped around on.
Mhm. Yeah, it's that time of year. Love it. Love it. I love it. I love it when these styles come out. I've evolved as a Hefeweizen fan. Before we move along, I've come to love them more, the subtlety of that. But the thing is the banana, Chelsea, I had to get over that.
Mm,
And sometimes that a little bit of butter. I'm really butter adverse, so when get a little bit of it, it's just
just
really,
like
really
nope.
bad. Right. So I had to differentiate that in my head that sometimes, Hefeweizen shouldn't have butter, but that butter sensation and that banana clove thing kind of comes close, if that makes sense on the palate, if that makes
It
sense,
does.
at
I mean,
least
if
for
you're
me.
if you're having something that's bready, kind of like sometimes that buttery taste is almost kind of synonymous with the bread taste. So that
Right,
makes
right,
sense.
right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
I think for me, it's just it might be the cloves to it, but there's just something
Mm,
that's just like too bitter for me that I can't. I'll drink an IPA. I'll drink a double IPA. I can't do a Hefeweizen, and I've tried so many times, and I'm just like, no, not for me.
mm,
But it's okay because
mm-hmm,
everyone has different tastes.
mm-hmm. And another style you want to get funky now.
I do. So this is I always feel like people get farmhouse ales. They get so confused because they're like, is it a farmhouse ale? Is it a saison? Is it a cream ale? Is it so farmhouse ales is more of a general description of all of the above. Um, they are traditionally they were traditionally found in Belgium and France. They have different meanings. So saison is the Belgian form of a farmhouse ale, and then there's Bière de Garde, which is the French version of it. Um,
Mm,
they're all light beers. They have usually like a creamy taste to it. They do have a little bit of pepper or clove sometimes, not necessarily all the time. Usually have a dry finish, and they are usually not clear. There's some kind of haziness to it, but it's like a golden or pale color. Um, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up was because I had the Beam and Barrel Dauphine recently. Um, it's their Beer de Jardin. So tasty. I will go back to my favorite bar if they still have that and keep drinking it. He's actually surprised that it's still on tap, and so am I because it's one of those beers again that is just a nice, smooth sipper. There's no strong bitterness to it. There's not a super strong sweetness to it. Um, I think this one is just under 7%, the Dauphine is. But of course, we all know the most famous farmhouse ale in Wisconsin is the Spotted Cow. Um, Sometimes they get the shaft when people say, "Oh, it's not a farmhouse ale; it's this kind of ale." But I think it's actually smart of them to go with farmhouse ale because it kind of, like I said before, encapsulates that whole um, idea of being a yeast-driven, soft, creamy beer. Um,
mhm.
and I'll drink it sometimes. I mean, there's plenty of other choices out there too, but if it's between that and Budweiser, I'll go for the Spotted Cow.
Mhm, mhm. Shout out to Venture Brewing Co. for also number one actually before we get or shout out to Venture Brewing Co. for the Heights. That's one of my favorite
Mm.
saisons here in Wisconsin. And I also noticed that did you mention Joel's favorite saison there is on the
I
left?
did not. I was looking up Wisconsin saisons, and then I saw Supermoon. I was like, oh, yep, I know. We have a super fan in the group. So that is kind of why I added it on there.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Good one, good one. Are you familiar with that one?
I am not. I've always wanted to visit their tap room, but I just haven't had the time to do
Oh,
it yet.
yeah, that's a really, really good one. Highly recommend it. Joel and I go back and forth on this. I just prefer Simon and Rob's Saison to that one, but they're both really, really, really good. So can't go wrong either way. Out of Milwaukee there with the Saisons for sure. And not too many of us brew Saisons. And by us, I mean, the community, right? Or no? In
No,
Wisconsin specifically?
yeah, I think it's definitely a again, it's another one of those seasonal ones, but I think if they have the choice between a Hefeweizen and a Saison, they'll probably go with a Hefeweizen instead. I feel like Wisconsin is definitely more wheat biased, I guess you could say, instead of yeast. But I mean, they both have their spots in the beer world, and I hope that more people make Saisons because they're delicious.
They are delicious. And then the last style you would like to talk about is this, it's kind of funky, right?
The acid or the lactic acid?
Sours?
Oh, yeah. Well, because I work for a company that is super well known for their sours. I actually don't know how exactly we make our sours, just because Kyle has it's his own method of making them. So he prefers to try to keep that close to the chest, which I totally understand. But there's two different types of acids that you can find in the beer brewing world. There's lactic acid and there's acetic acid. They both have certain ways to use them correctly, but most of the time you're going to find lactic acid in like your Berliners, your sour stouts, fruit punch sours, just because the lactic acids are a little more soft with a lingering tartness. It's not as volatile. It's not as it doesn't leave such like a burning sensation when you have it. And it is usually brought through with a quick souring in the kettles, or it's a prolonged aging. So that's why when you see like the Cedar Red from Earthrider, they use a lactobacillus to age it, and that's what gives it that sour quality to it. Whereas the acetic is sharp, it's going to warm you. It gives you that instant puckering face. A lot of times this is similar to like if you had balsamic vinegar or just something that's like that kind of sourness. It's almost disrupting. But that's not to say that you can't find it in your beer. Sometimes if you have a beer that is off tasting and it tastes that sour, that is acetic acid. That is the beer has gone bad. The beer has either there's an infection in the still or anything above, and it gets that sour taste to it. And it's usually a from the, let me see if I'm reading it right, the Acetobacter bacteria, which that needs oxygen and ethanol to thrive. So when brewers use this, they're expecting to get the byproduct acetic there. One of the more likely beers you can find this is in lambics. But they're not going to be as present as a lactic acid. You just need just a little bit of acetic acid to get that puckering flavor, whereas lactic acid, you can play with it a little more and let it linger a little more to give you that soft, tart flavor rather than in-your-face kind. Yeah.
Just give me all the sours.
Agreed. And you know when you can get all these sours, Greg?
Where?
You can get them at Youngblood at our brand new tap room that is having our grand opening on May 29th. It's like a week and a half away.
Yeah. I should be doing something like clapping.
There we go.
Any details you would like to drop while we're here?
So we will have 2 specialty kegs there. One is going to be an Amburana aged pineapple demigorgon in the upside down. So
Oh my
All of
god.
our names are mouthfuls, but this one is our pineapple demigorgon. It is a pineapple upside down cake pastry sour, and we aged it in these Amburana wood to give it more of a vanilla undertone. So it can be like a super, almost like a thick vanilla pineapple upside down cake, but in liquid form.
Mm. Mm.
And then we also have a barrel aged espresso stout as well
Mm.
that will be pouring there, as well as all of our other favorite beers. We'll have Pony Club there. Most of our draft will be on there as well, and we'll be serving some tasty food as well. So it's gonna be a blast. Get there early, just to make sure you get a parking spot. Otherwise, you're gonna probably walk a little bit, but I mean, it's a good thing to walk off some of those calories from those beers.
Le- yeah, let's talk food real quick. Is this the same food that we know from like King Street?
I wish I knew. I
Okay.
have not
Oh,
heard anything yet about the food. I know we
okay.
have an executive chef that we've hired for the area. He's gonna put his own fun little twist on things.
Okay.
I hope they have the crunch
Um,
wrap because I love the crunch wraps we have
well, I
at
was
King
gonna
Street.
you stole my thunder there because I was like,
I'm
as
sorry.
long as y'all have the crunch wrap, I'm good. Because you probably already heard about the crunch wrap from me. As long as we have the crunch wrap, I'm set. And also, do you know? I'm not expecting it, but I have to ask about the Bears Still Suck beer.
I don't know if we'll have that on draft.
Okay,
I do hope we
okay.
do bring it back again this year because
You
that was such a sleeper hit. It hit the market and it just flew.
it should have. It was an amazing hazy.
It's a hazy pale ale.
Okay. Listen, y'all. Don't get scared away by the hazy here. Don't roll your. I know y'all hazy haters are rolling your eyes. This one was amazing. One great light drinker, crisp. It was just
It
all
was
right.
great.
Yeah. So that is once again next.
It is May 29th. I believe it is 3 to 8 p.m. is the grand opening, but it might be later. Don't necessarily quote me on that. I will be there. I just might be a zombie because I'll be coming back from a road trip, but come say hi. Absolutely.
Oh well. Okay. Actually, as for the record, y'all, a little inside ball. Chelsea is the executive producer of this show at this point. I am the associate producer, right? But when the executive producer misses something, we got to go back. So,
It's true.
Chelsea, we didn't talk about 30.
Oh, 330, 300 storage rule. That
Let's
is
go.
correct.
Did you get a graphic on that? Or are we good?
I did not get a graphic on that,
Okay.
but
Okay. Cool. But go ahead. I mean, you know it better than I
it's
did
like
because I
gonna
wasn't
be.
when you presented this to me, I wasn't that familiar with it actually, and I was like, wait. So you
So
can
this
share
is
your screen
actually,
if you want. Yeah, if you got a screen, you can share your screen. I can put it up, or we can just talk about it. But either way, we need to hear more.
of course, yeah. So this is actually put forth first by Miller Brewing Company, um, mainly because they wanted to showcase how heat speeds up the aging in beer. Um,
Mm.
so the 330, 300 rule means that beer stored at 90 degrees for 3 days, 72 degrees for 30 days, or 38 degrees for 300 days will lose the same amount of freshness. So if you have a beer that is sitting outside in the middle of summer at 90 degrees for 3 days, it's going to taste like the same kind of beer that you have in your fridge that's been there for almost a year. So that's how quickly heat affects the freshness and the taste of your beer. Yeah. Obviously, this isn't like across the board. I mean, stouts are going to be fine for the most part, just because that is kind of beer they are.
Mhm.
But a big thing for this too is because of the clear glass. So a lot of bottles, like your Miller Lights, Highlights, all those things, it's a clear glass. So if they're in that sun exposure, they get that heat, even if they're in the
Mhm.
cooler, they're getting that heat from the sun and the light, and that kind of speeds
Mhm.
up the aging process for it as well. Um, But yeah, always keep your beer cold if you want it to last longer. Unless you like hot beer, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not. I have some weird tastes, but hot beer is not one of them.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is literal alcohol abuse of the alcohol. Actually, not. Y'all know what I mean.
It's alcohol
Uh,
abuse. Yes.
yeah. Keep your beer cold. Keep it in cold, cool places at the very least. And yeah, I've always been weird about warm. I don't try to buy warm beer, if that makes sense, Chelsea. I always try to buy it from the refrigerator because somewhere in my head it's like it's always been refrigerated, but that
It
may
is.
not
And
be true.
honestly, if
But
you let's
or
see if I have it on this can. I have a Youngblood beer can with me right now. On the back of it, it says, "This beer lives. Keep cold. Drink soonish." Let's see if I can. There it is.
mm-hmm.
So we'll make the beer. It goes in a cooler. It stays in the cooler until our distributor picks it up. It picks it up in it's a normal van, but the distributor is only like 20 minutes away from where a brewery facility is. So then they put it in their refrigeration and it stays in there until it goes to the store. And usually we try to get most of our beer in cold placement to keep it as fresh as possible. Especially if you have beers that have live cultures in it. If you put them in a warm spot and you store them, that is a good chance to see exploding beer. I had an account back when I was in my distributor days that had seltzers, and didn't they didn't control the yeast and the bacteria in it very well, so it became sour, and it built up to such an extreme pressure that the cans would explode and then leak on everything. At one point, I had to fill back a whole pallet of this beer because it was not properly. Yeah, it was a headache. So I'm a big proponent of if it's cold, it should stay cold. Another brewery that does this is Revolution Brewing. They almost always make sure that their beer is cold until it gets to the account. When it gets to account, it's kind of no hands on it. We can't go to every single liquor store, mom and pop restaurant and say, no, our beer needs to be in a cooler. You can't do this. Because they don't typically like being told what to do.
Mm-hmm. And you can't visit them all.
Yes, exactly. I mean, for us, like, we're all throughout Wisconsin. We have some beer in Chicago. We just don't have the manpower to go everywhere and be everywhere all at once, unfortunately.
Yeah, and last question for you while we're here. And it may be a long one, but this is your show, so you take as much long as you want. But can you talk about the importance of buying to go beer at the brewery as opposed to at a retail shop? No disrespect for the retail shop, but is there a difference to the brewery? So a question I get a lot of times is, does a brewery make more? Do I have a better chance at fresh beer at the brewery? How do you see that as someone who's been on a distributing side and the brewery side?
So sometimes if you get it from the brewery, it might be cheaper. There is other costs that go into when you give it to a mom and pop shop. So if we sell our beer 4 packs at the brewery, um, there's still the same amount of effort goes into that. We still have to make the beer, we still have to can the beer, we still have to quality test it, we still have to move it from the brewing facility to the tap room, um, which all adds into the price of it. But where it's different is when it gets to the distributor, then we're paying the distributor to pick up this beer. We're paying for the gas for that truck to pick up the beer. We're paying, for them to store it for however long. And then they have to charge that price to the consumer, accounts, mom and pop shops, that kind of stuff. And then obviously they have to make their money back as well. So it's usually about a 6% markup from what we charge the distributor to. So sometimes breweries will have different prices. Sometimes they'll keep it the same just so that, people don't feel like they're cheated. But I always feel like if you're really looking for a beer and sometimes it's really hard to find beer, it's way better to go to the brewery and find it there. Most likely more fresher. It's most likely been cold. Again, like, if they're distributing it between the tap rooms and the facility, they're going to make sure that beer stays cold and it's at the best it can be. Once it leaves the brewery's hands, like, sometimes their hands are tied. We can't make sure that it stays how we want it to. But yeah, I wish it was a blanket statement, but yeah, no, it all changes depending on how the brewery wants to charge for the labor that goes into it, and not just the labor of the brewers, but the labor of front of house staff, distributors, all that fun stuff.
Yep. And as someone who's not worked in the industry in this way, don't listen to me, y'all, but I love to always say, or listen to me on this maybe. Visit your brewery always if you can. The retail shops are, more convenient. And again, get to them when you can. But if you can stop by the brewery, you definitely have a more wider chance at different things going on. And as Chelsea, I believe, said very astutely here, they get more of the cut at their brewery. So,
yes. Also, sometimes breweries just have beer just at the breweries. They don't put it out in distro. I know
yes,
Eagle Park is really well known for that. They have a lot of great beers, but they keep the core in the market, and then the fun beers they keep at the brewery, which works for me because that's the only time if I want to get what was it? They had a mimosa hard seltzer that was delicious and also was like 9%, and that's how you have a good Sunday.
Right. And speaking of a really fun, good beer that you could only get at the brewery, we will talk about the Class of 25 Badger Beer Report collaboration brew. We have two breweries that have kicked it already, y'all. Fond du Lac and Boulder Junction. You can no longer get it there, but this is a fun Maibach. We'll get to that in a second, but you can get it at Vault 202, St. Francis, Brewdoman, Lombardy, and Mobcraft as we speak. You could roll up now to try this beer that is a celebration of the breweries that came in last year. And I wanted to show this because we are proud over here at Badger Beer Report for thanks, Neil. I want to say shout out to Neil. Thanks for leaving us a nice positive review on Untappd, which we take those because Untappd could be a very, very harsh.
It's like the Wild West sometimes out there.
Right. So thanks, Neil, for the shout out. He was at Tailwinds and he had it. So that is great and fun. So just so y'all know, we still have 6 breweries that have it on tap. Tailwinds is just not open today. They'll be open tomorrow. So check that out. We are happy about that going on. Another thing we have going on is we have the summer mashup. Badger Beer Report is helping put on a homebrew competition with Sunshine Brewing and Madison's Homebrewers and Tasters Guild. And the winner of this homebrew competition will get their beer scaled up at Sunshine Brewing. We just put out the event. We're going to have a live in-person event. You can meet the Badger Beer crew, and you can meet some of the nerdy beer guys crew. If you're familiar with them, you'll be able to meet Caleb from Sunshine. You'll be able to meet some judges, BJCB judges. There'll be some Madison homebrewers folks there to talk about joining the club if you want. I believe our own Chelsea McCoon's going to be there.
Yeah, I will be there to judge the top 3 beers.
Let's go. Right. There you go. And hopefully I will be, I don't know. Hopefully I will not be able to judge because I have 1 entry in this contest.
Ooh.
So, yes. So if my entry makes it to the top, I will have to recuse myself because otherwise I'm going to be very biased and say my
that's
beer.
classy. I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, it's only fair, right? But that being said, though, I'm out to get y'all. So if y'all want to challenge me and everybody else, and as you heard, y'all, if it gets to my thing, I will recuse myself so y'all can't yell rigged. Y'all still can probably yell rigged, but it's not. not
We're
going to
not gonna
be.
hear,
If I
it's
win,
fine.
y'all, it's not going to be. Right. And my people won't know which beer it is. So it's not like they'll be able to do that. But anyway, it's not about me, y'all. It's about promoting home brewing and promoting two of my favorite places in the world. Well, Sunshine Brewing is one of my favorite breweries. I absolutely love that. I've always loved Sunshine Brewing and Madison Home Brewers and Tasters Guild. There would not be a Badger Beer Report if there was not a Madison's Home Brewers and Tasters Guild. We will save all that story for another time, but believe me when I say this would not be here if it wasn't for that club. So shout out to everybody making that happen. And lastly, we are making things happen on our Patreon. We have 3 tiers, y'all. $3 if you want to just support us, $5 and $10. This keeps the lights on here at Badger Beer Report. Well, actually, my hobby fund keeps the lights on at Badger Beer Report, but y'all need to help keep the lights on at Badger Beer Report and keep us long-term sustainability and to keep wonderful hosts that we have like Chelsea right there, y'all. So
Well, I do
even though
have
we
to
don't pay
interrupt you
Chelsea,
for a second. I do have to interrupt you for a second because now I can say that you missed something. Don't you guys have an event next week out in Milwaukee for Lager and Friends?
yes, we do. Look at you, look at you. Yes, we do. In fact, look, this is why we keep her around, y'all. No, this is why she's here, for the record. Anyway, we have we have Lager and Friends. No, that's supposed to be here somewhere. Oh, here it is. We have Lager and Friends, May 30th. This is the day after the big opening. Where, Chelsea? Where's the big
Youngblood Forest?
Yeah, so y'all gonna have to hit up Youngblood the Forest on the Friday, and then hit up Lager and Friends, where Dosh Beer 2.0 will be back. Badger Beer Crew will be there too. I don't think Chelsea McCoon's going to be able to make that.
I will not. I have an event that I have to be at on that day, unfortunately. But I was there last year. My tent was right next to you guys. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on over there. So
yeah, now a year later, look at us. A year later, look at us. But that being said, we'll be there next. Because also Chelsea's going to have to recover from the night before, which is going to be the big Youngblood party.
Yeah.
So I may be able to sneak into Youngblood a couple days earlier. We'll talk about that. We'll see. But that being said, I will be at Lagerfest. Dosh Beer will be at Lagerfest. It's an amazing Vienna lager. It is awesome. So yes, that's next. Get your tickets now. That beer it's a small batch beer, Chelsea. So it's not going to make it far outside of Gathering Places Sphere. So if y'all want to try Dosh Beer, which is the first collaboration ever for Badger Beer Report, you get to do that next Saturday. And thank you, Chelsea, because I would have missed that.
I know. I was waiting for you. I was like,
I know. Let's go. What are you doing, Greg? I got caught up in again. Still gets me caught up in Youngblood the Forest. When I hear Youngblood the Forest, I can't think about anything else, right?
It's just the alarms go off like,
yes, it's just wild madness. And this has been going on for a couple years now. And if y'all been following Badger Beer Report, y'all been following me being so happy about from the second that it was announced to, we're almost there to the opening. So yeah, Chelsea, this is your show, so I need to shut up and let you take us out.
Hopefully I see you all on May 29th at Youngblood Beer Company in DeForest for the grand opening. If not, there's plenty of other times to, catch up with the Badger Beer Report people. And yes. We'll see you next month.
Next month will be the next time you can catch up with Chelsea on the Mix 6, but you can also hit up Chelsea at Badger Beer Report at gmail.com. And Chelsea, what's your email real quick?
My email is chelseam@youngbloodbeercompany.com.
There you go, y'all.
Yeah, feel free to send anything my way. I might not answer. I have a hard time answering emails all the time, but I will try.
All right. Well, my new sign off has been one of my new sign offs is drink local and stay social. Talk to you soon,
I
Chelsea.
love that. I love that. Drink local and stay social.
Cheers.